Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another review, and today I'm taking a look at another high-grade Witch from Mercury kit, and this right here is the high-grade Gundam Lfrith Thorn, or if you prefer, the high-grade Gundam Lfrith Thorn. Of course, this is one of a pair of Gundams, which would have also included the Gundam Lfrith Thorn, so if you want to check that review out in advance, you can. It'll be featured throughout this review, and if you want both of these kits right here, I got mine through Hobby Link Japan, so I'll leave links down there in the description. Now let's check it out. So jumping right on into the aesthetics, and what can I say, I am actually blown away by this in multiple kind of ways. First off, I remember when this was first announced, I was really shocked by the design. It's almost small and chickeny. They even gave it a kind of a bird or chickeny style color. I mean, this looks like a little rotisserie chicken. But apparently there is a reasoning behind this. So when it comes to the blurb inside the manual about this particular mobile suit right here, it says, a Gundam type mobile suit provided to the anti-Spatian organization Dawn of Fold. Like the Lfrith Thorn, this unit is heavily modified version of the Gundam Lfrith pre-production model. That's this one right here, which Bandai need to make a kit of, by the way. I need me some of those pre-productions. Its particular design featuring long arms and short legs was implemented to allow the Lfrith Thorn to withstand the most intense combat situations and gives the unit a very stable center of gravity. So there's your reasoning for why it is a little bit smaller. However, in my mind, throwing longer arms onto something isn't going to give it more of a never mind. Anyway, when it comes to the overall silhouette of this kit, it does have short legs and long arms, which makes it ridiculously unique. I also feel, just like we would have seen with the Gundam Lfrith Thorn, this is an almost Bill Divers-y looking design. I wouldn't be, well, shocked if you could pull off some of the arms, pull off some of the legs and the chest, and we've got a core Gundam inside of it. Honestly, that's an awesome idea. Even though this shares a name with the Gundam Lfrith, it looks absolutely nothing like it, and even though it shares a name with the Gundam Lfrith Thorn, it is quite different. Now, we'll mention when we saw the Gundam Lfrith Thorn, the color on that was a little greener and brighter than we would have expected from the original design, and this one right here, while closer to the original design, almost has a little bit more of a reddish hue than I was actually expecting, but otherwise it looks pretty good. The colors for the most part are fantastic. The only stickers, just like before, are for on the shell units in the chest around the weapon round back, but overall the color separation is phenomenal. We do have the clear segments for the shell units in the chest and on the forehead. Once again, these do have a little bit of a Gundam 00 kind of vibe to them. Don't look as premium as what we would have seen on either the Lfrith or either version of the Aerial, but it still looks pretty cool the way you can see into the actual grey segments inside of the chest. We've got a very nice unique head here. All the parts layer up very nicely. Those brown panels coming out over the typical Gundam muzzle look so good. And one of the coolest aspects I find about this design is the thrusters all over the place, which do kind of go with the long arm, short leg, low center of gravity vibe. We've got thrusters in the shoulders that look very nice. The ones in the upper legs look phenomenal, but the ones that really steal the show are the three massive boosters combined with the single one in the back that we have on the rear skirting armor. The feet on this are incredibly unique as well, giving it some more of that chickeny feel. The articulation actually makes them look quite cool in poses. And the only real letdown I feel with this kit visually is the fact that we do have very large stickers in those chest vents to actually do the black on silver kind of look for inside of those. But besides that, I have to admit, I really do like this design. It's pretty cool. Everything that we would have seen from this line so far, including the plastic on plastic, rock solid quality, fantastic build, it is all here, and this is an insanely nice kit. So when it comes to a size comparison, the Thorn is as hilariously small as you'd expect it to be. So there it is beside the standard Aerial, as well as the Aerial rebuild. As for some other Gundams, there it is beside the Pharact and the Thorn. So now jumping into the accessories, and it's not just the Lfrith name that the Thorn right here shares with the Thorn. Basically, the set of accessories we get in here is identical, just color swapped with a little bit of differences. And it's always nice to say, this kit also has a lot of hands included. So what we've gotten here is the beam diffuse gun, as well as the shield, the phased array cannon, 2 beam sabers, and 2 pairs of hands for a grand total of 4. Let's check them out. So when it comes to the hands in here, like I mentioned, we've got a grand total of 4. That is your standard set of holding hands, which is this style right here. We have 2 of those, a left and a right, so it can hold its weapons in whichever hand that you want. And we also have a pair, and I repeat pair, of wide spread open hands. Just look at that. These are always awesome for when it's not holding onto any weapons. So speaking of the weapons, the first pair of weapons we have in here are the Beam Saber units. What it says inside of the instructions about this is the Lfrith Thorn's Beam Sabers are housed within its forearms. When the weapon is in use, its block unit rotates forward and the energy blade extends directly from the unit's output port. So yeah, there is a lot of choices when it comes to these particular beams. This second option is you can actually pop them in underneath the shield like so, popping off. I'm not actually sure if this will attach though like that, will it? Just pop that on in order to find out. Yeah, it will definitely fit and do what it's meant to do. The final option is extremely cool. We've got these segments in the forearm, and just like the manual mentioned, these rotate forward like so. They've got a little bit of a rotating and sliding mechanism that needs to be done at the same time, which takes a little bit of getting used to. Then once you've got it pointing forward, you just take the beam and pop it in like so. It fits perfectly, and I have to say I've always loved arm-mounted beam sabers. They just seem like such a quick use weapon. Well, pretty awesome idea. You don't have to use a hand, they're always there, they're always ready, and on the Thorn, they look fantastic, putting that super long reach to use. So the next piece of equipment we have in here is the Beam Diffuse Gun. According to the instructions right here, a portable firearm that emits strong scattershot beams and serves as the unit's primary weapon. The gun is equipped with a high-capacity battery to allow for extended use, and features multiple high-efficiency exhaust mechanisms. All of what you just heard there is obvious on the sculpt of this. This thing looks absolutely beautiful. It's big, it's over the top. We do have those exhausts up front, which are very finely molded into the front of it. We have a handle round on the side round here, and the main handle just pops into the hand in the normal way that they normally would, and it holds on perfectly. These arms are strong and secure. That little handle on the side, that's for two-handing this thing. You can swivel that around all you want like so, can attach into the other hand. And we do have a sticker for this sight on here, which is the only sticker on the weapon. Otherwise though, this thing looks so good. So the next weapon that we have in here is the shield, and this is almost pretty much a direct color swap of what we would have seen with the Ur. It's just now in brown. We've got the beam sabers down underneath if you need to use those. Attachment point right there, gray on the bottom, brown on the top to make it look dual layered and strong, and it just pops simply enough onto this peg hole here on the side of the arm. Now this doesn't get in the way of using the beam saber or anything like that, so this is an extremely simple but nice shield. Once again, pretty much identical to what we would have seen with the Ur is this right here, which is the phased array cannon. This does everything the same, looks the same, is the same, besides the way it attaches around back. Now this does bring me to a little bit of a disappointing point. We do not have the standard backpack adapter right here on the Thorn. We just have these three attachment points, which is quite an interesting array. The phased array cannon that we get in here is only for using on the leftmost peg hole, so that does mean we've got two spare. So just like I said with the Ur, there's probably going to be something added onto this particular mech sometime in the future. Anyway, this has points of rotation here and here. The whole thing can tilt up at this point here as well, so there is a lot of movement to it. That and the fact that this can open up and transform just like we would have seen with the last one. So that is these two little segments down here and the upper segments just like that. So there is a lot of opening up to this particular cannon. And just like I would have mentioned before, all that red you're seeing there, shining, they are all stickers, but for the most part, they don't look too bad, but adding these little long ones in here can be a little bit of a pain in the butt. So finally now jumping into the articulation to check what this right here can pull off, and I have to say, once again, this line absolutely blows me away with just how strong the finished builds are. So now getting into that test post to test out all of the articulation at once, and I have to admit I am shocked. At first I thought this wasn't going really anywhere because a lot of the armor on this, especially those large knees, the big pointy shoulders, clash against a lot of parts on the kit, so they do get in the way of fluid articulation. But the articulation is there, you just have to work for it a little bit. And this gets down low, has plenty of articulation where you need it, and can pull off this pose absolutely perfectly. Some parts look great, especially the leg when the knee is bent. So when it does come to the leg right here, like I mentioned, this bend is really nice. It's actually two bends, one's nice, one not so much. So when it bends, you get this little bit of inner frame exposed just like so, which looks really cool. And then we've got this secondary bend down here that gives us a little bit more. So you get a very nice bend, and the ankle gives you a lot in, well, that direction as well. I will mention the ankle is extremely limited to the front though, and doesn't move up too much. You can also swivel these feet bit a little bit as well. But basically what I was going to say is this again is a C-clip, so I find the more you play around with it, the more likely it is to just pop off. This happens a lot. I know a lot of you guys aren't the biggest fans of C-clips, and this one is a little bit on the useless side at times, but for the most part, it gets the job done. Other standout features are very nice articulation at the bum flap right here, and is usually the case with these kits. This doesn't have much in the lines of an ab crunch, just there, to there, and that is all. It's mainly just rotation at that point, and no real side to side, a little bit, but not a whole lot. It's mainly rotation at the waist. So anyway, that right there is it for the review, and this is another awesome Witch from Mercury kit without a doubt, and for me this is getting gold tier. It's not quite aerial or aerial rebuild level, but it is an absolutely fantastic kit which I highly recommend. Visually this is very unique. It almost looks like a chicken Gundam, which is a lot of fun. But if you're ignoring that fact, it does have a lot of nice angles, a lot of nice shapes. And hey, if you don't like the legs, you can just transplant Ur's legs onto it and you've got yourself something that is a basis of a custom instantly. But yeah, aesthetically absolutely fantastic. The only letdown is the shell unit on the forehead, and the chest, just like with the Ur, isn't as fancy as what we would have seen on Ariel. When it comes to the accessories in here, these are very nice. The take on the beam sabers on the wrists, that is awesome, and the rest of the equipment does exactly what you need it to. When it comes to the articulation, this is another rock solid Witch from Mercury kit, but there's a little bit of a C-clip on the leg you need to pay attention to, but besides that, will slay any pose that you want it to, and it's rock solid while it's doing it. Anyway, once again, highly recommended, gold tier. Got mine from Hobby Link Japan, you can too. As always, thank you so much for watching, and make sure to come back for more Gunpla reviews. Just jumping in at the end again to mention that I will get the end card parts of the membership and Patreon up very soon. It's just I've moved recently. I've only got my office half built to the point it's at right now, and all of that stuff is on my actual PC that I used to use for everything. So I will get that back up and running in the office soon. So I'll get that end card up properly and give the thanks where it needs to be given. But in the meantime, thank you so much.